So we are just about to start the session, and in the next 2 hours my whole target will be to revise the subject in the most efficient and quickest way possible. In the first 1 hour I'll be revising these chapters 1 to 5 and thereafter chapter number 6 to 10 in the next 1 hour. So this is how we are going to proceed, and don't worry about the new legal sections part, because the new legal sections thing is already embedded and it is a part of your OneShot PDF itself. In the end, I will tell you that what are the most important numbers and we will try to memorize them in a quick way. Okay. So anyone just acknowledge, am I clearly audible and visible? And always remember, your target to solve my subject question should be 5 seconds, maximum 15 seconds, not 30 seconds or 1 minute, so that you save your precious time for new questions. And after 2 hours of complete one-shot revision, I am confident that you will feel yourself on next level, and that I will try my best. So just pay full concentration, be into full concentration throughout next 2 hours. So right from morning you had surgery session, physio session, your mind might be tired, but gather your energy for next 2 hours. And exam is nearby, and that should keep you motivated. So very good evening to all. Assalamu alaikum, Shat Shri Akal, Ram Ram, Kem Cho, Vanakkam, Namaskaram, greetings to all. Yes, okay, ask me. I will go about INI-CT important topics. See, FMG exams and NEET PG exams, they are not much, there is not much difference if you talk about my subject. So yes, it will be beneficial for FMG aspirants too. If you ask me about this one-shot session, if you have read the subject earlier, obviously this will be lifesaver. And INI-CT important topics, now I will tell you. There are few topics which particularly are asked usually only in INI-CT exams. So just recall me in the end. Chalo ji, shuru karte. Okay, let us begin. And remember these lines. These are like very motivating lines. Expert in anything was once a beginner. I was also a student, an MBBS student. I did my PG. Then I became a teacher. With the help of you all students only. You all students only teach us that how to improvise yourself. So never ever think low about yourself. You all are meritorious students. Keep that confidence within you that I am the best version of myself. And that is what is mostly required in those 3.5 hours. That belief on yourself. So never lose that belief. Okay. And with that belief on ourselves, let us start the session. So starting with sexual offenses. What are the questions which are asked? Majorly from the examination part. Maximum things are written so that we save our time. Just focus towards what I am saying. And whatever I will scribble now, I will share this PDF with you all. So with regards to sexual assault victim examination, who has given us the guidelines? The guidelines have been given by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, MOHFW, since 2014. And what they have said is that once a patient comes to hospital, there are two situations. Either the patient can come on her own, or she can be brought by a policeman. If brought by a policeman, well and good. If she comes on her own, what is the duty of a doctor? First thing is, you have to take the detailed history of the case. Then you will come to know so that what is case is all about. Second important duty of a doctor is, we always have to inform police. Indirectly, this thing is written in 33 section of Bhartiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, which they have replaced our CRPC sections, where what is written is public should report to police about certain offenses. So yes, police should be reported about certain offenses, and we doctors also fall in that general public list. Third important duty of a doctor is with respect to consent. What is the minimum age of consent at which victims' consent is valid? 12 years. A victim 12 and more than 12, their consent is valid. What about a situation where the victim is not giving consent? Firstly, we have to do psychological counseling still the victim is not ready, then for our own safety, we have to take a written informed refusal, because the consent which we take is written informed consent. Will you provide treatment of injuries? Yes. Is any consent available for treatment of injuries or to keep the blood samples to rule out life-threatening STDs like HIV, syphilis, or you have to rule out pregnancy? Can you go ahead with these things? Yes, because the victim will be coming with either a OPD card or emergency card, and that is a sort of implied consent. So implied consent is already there and we are safe that we can give treatment. We can keep we have to keep blood samples to rule out life-threatening sexually transmitted diseases like HIV, syphilis, gonorrhea, like that. Then with regards to accused examination, there are a few important lines to remember. With regards to accused, consent is not mandatory. Consent is not must. Because law says no, we can use minimum reasonable force with the help of policemen to facilitate the examination part. So we tell the accused, whether you give your consent or not, that is not a big thing. Your examination has to be done. So usually they give their consent. Then the same thing, we will take the history and all. With regards to swab preservation, here we preserve penile swabs and we send them to FSL, Forensic Science Lab. So after examination of the penile swabs, which we have taken from the surface of the penis of the accused, the lab person will be doing Lugol's iodine test. Suppose the accused has not used a condom, then over the penis of the accused, what will be present is female vaginal epithelial cells. So those cells will be present in the swab also. And these cells are rich in glycogen. And when glycogen combines with iodine, what you obtain is a brown color change, and we say the test to be positive. That is the inference of the test. So what is the test which is utilized for rape accused examination in relation to penile swabs? Lugol's iodine test, one of the repeat questions. And all these 6 important points, they are important repeats. What a doctor should do, what a doctor should not do, like that. So you'll be able to solve these questions. And these are very important for INI-CT exams too. Okay. Now come to the victim examination part. Here important questions are asked from hymen area. So let us gather all those questions quickly. What is the most common type of hymen? Suppose if a question comes like this, then your answer will be, these are important stuff regarding hymen. Hymen is a mucosal fold at vaginal introitus. And most common type is semilunar. The type of hymen has been classified based on the type of orifice. So if the orifice of hymenal orifice is semilunar, the type of hymen becomes semilunar. Similarly, there is another type of hymen called fimbriated. Very ancient repeat. Once upon a time, the question was asked that which type of hymen resembles tears due to penovaginal penetration. There the answer was fimbriated hymen. This resembles tears. Let's write this. Resembles tears due to penovaginal penetration. And how we differentiate? These anatomical variants, they won't reach the margins. And that is how actual tears, they reach the margins. Suppose I draw a wall clock. So over here is your 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 11 and 1. And this is suppose hymenal orifice. And this yellow shaded area will be the hymen, the mucosal fold. Okay. Now, the actual tears will be reaching the margins. But fimbriated hymen will be like this. The orifice of hymen will be like this. That is what is called fimbriated hymen. Then another repeat. They gave you a image-based question and they asked you that what is this type of hymen? What were they showing you was these 2 orifices separated by a septa. And rest of the area, what is present is hymen like this. So if you see 2 orifices means septate hymen. So these 3 types of hymen should be remembered. Then based on the type of location of the injuries, you can tell the etiology. Like if the location of the tears is between 5 to 7 o'clock position, yes, penovaginal penetration is the reason. Which aspect of vagina is mostly involved? Posterolateral aspect, because posterolaterally the supporting structures supporting the vagina are very, very weak, kamjor hote. Then 11 to 1 o'clock position, suppose the tears are present in this place. Then what is the reason? The answer is foreign body penetration or finger penetration. In our exams, what they write is, instead of finger, they write digit penetration. That also means finger penetration.